Hello everyone and welcome back to Phantom Sports Industries. My name is Joe Soisson. I'm a contributor for Phantom's hockey content. Today I've got another power ranking video for you guys. Another month of play has gone by, about 2 months-ish left of the NHL regular season, but this is my top 10 teams through the month of February. Let's cue up some music and get this show on the road. Starting off at number 10, the Edmonton Oilers. Despite some setbacks this month, Edmonton ended up going positive, 6-5-1 through the month of February. But they had a wide variety of score lines that they experienced. Their largest point spreads were a 4-0 loss at Los Angeles, followed by an 8-4 win over Detroit. 6 games against playoff teams this month, which most of them were very close. 4-3 overtime win in Dallas, 6-5 overtime loss against Boston. The end result was Edmonton going 3-2-1 against current playoff teams. But I still like what I see in the Oilers' stat line. 4th best goals per game average in the league. They've got 4 players with 20 or more goals this season, including Connor McDavid, who's got 76 assists. That's the most in the league. And you pair that with solid goaltending and defense. Edmonton's got the second least total shots against. Stuart Skinner has a goals against average of 2.60 and a save percentage of 90.6%. Calvin Pickard has a goals against average of 2.40, save percentage at 90.9%. So while it wasn't the cleanest month, I still would not want to play a team like Edmonton in the first round of the playoffs. And number 9, the Colorado Avalanche. I've had Colorado in my top 10 really since the beginning of the year, but they struggled this month. 5-5-2 through the month of February, 2-4-2 against current playoff teams. Now 8 of their 12 games played were on the road this month, and they did not travel particularly well, 2-4-2 in away games. But at home, they've been a different team this year. 3-1 this month, 24-6 this season. And I can't just ignore the best goals per game average in the league. McKinnon and Rantanen are head and shoulders above the rest of the team when it comes to goals. But this team, when it comes down to it, lives and dies by Georgiev's performance in net. He's got 49 of 63 starts, 2.91 goals against average, and a save percentage at an even 90%. He is getting worked to the bone this season. They miss having Pavel Francouz as a backup. And the way things are trending, if they don't get the number 1 seed, don't get home ice advantage, they could be due for another early exit in the postseason. But you still have to respect the talent that is on this team, which is why I've got Colorado at number 9. And number 8, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Big month of February for Toronto. They went 9-3 this month, 4-1 against current playoff teams. They had a 7-game win streak in the middle of the month, and they've won 4 road games in a row. Their last 2 were against Vegas and Colorado. Offense is the name of their game. They've got the second best goals per game average, the second best power play percentage, and the top goal scorer in the league. Austin Matthews has 53 goals. I mean, that is not far off from nearly a goal per game. Now, their goaltending has not been as strong as last year, but with the depth and talent they have, paired with the electric offense, Samsonov, Jones, Woll, they don't have to be all-stars. And anytime an offense takes the pressure off of the netminder, it makes for a dangerous combination, which is why I've got Toronto at number 8 on my list. And number 7, the Carolina Hurricanes. Look, I said in my last power ranking video that if they continued to play well, they'd make my next top 10, and sure enough, here they are. 8-3-1 through the month of February, one of the better records of NHL teams this month. 3-3 against current playoff teams. And they had a lot of key injuries to overcome. Ranta, Anderson, Svechnikov. But now, they have found their groove. 12th best goals per game average, 9 players with 10 or more goals. And this defense is surprisingly good. Least total shots against in the league. And Pyotr Kochetkov has stepped up in net. Goals against average of 2.41. That's the 3rd best goals against average in the league. And a save percentage of an even 91%. They've got a busy March, but Carolina is trending in the right direction. I've got the Hurricanes at number 7. At number 6, the Winnipeg Jets. One of the few top teams that didn't struggle as hard this month. Winnipeg went 7-4-0 through February. They had a couple short win streaks as well, 3 in a row early, 4 in a row late. They went 6-2 in conference play. And their strengths as a team remain the same, defense and goaltending. Winnipeg has the least total goals against, the 2nd best goals against average in the league, and the 7th least total shots against. All of this culminates in them having the 3rd best goal differential in the NHL. Now that being said, the Jets went 1-2 against current playoff teams this month. Both of those losses were 4-1 and on the road. And their special teams is behind the curve. 24th best power play percentage, 23rd best penalty kill percentage. Penalties themselves aren't a major concern. Winnipeg is tied for the 7th least penalty minutes in the league. But this was an easier part of their schedule, and they came out with a winning record, which is why Winnipeg gets number 6 on my list. At number 5, the Boston Bruins. Look, it was not a great month for Boston. They went 4-3-5 in February. But 7 of their 12 matches this month were against current playoff teams, and they went 4-0-3 in those matchups. So while not every game was a W, points are points, and they were able to earn them in their toughest games this month. In fact, what was crazy about this month was the amount of extended play Boston really had. They had 7 games go into overtime or shootout. At one point, they had 6 games in a row that required extra time. And despite a heavy out-of-conference schedule this month, Boston's team stats haven't really changed. 8th best goals per game average, 5th best goals against average. Their special teams putting in the work. 8th best power play percentage, 9th best penalty kill percentage. To me, this says that Boston, they'll hold their own if they get to the finals. They just got to get out of the Eastern Conference first, which is a lot easier said than done, and that's why I'm putting the Bruins at number 5. At number 4, the Dallas Stars. A lot of out-of-conference matchups made for a brutal February. 13 games, including 3 separate back-to-backs. Dallas went 6-4-3 with only 4 home games this month. They played 9 games against playoff teams and went 4-3-2 in those matchups. But there's a lot to like about this team, especially when it comes to their offense. They've got the 2nd most goals for, the 5th best goals per game average, and they've got 5 skaters with 20 or more goals this season. Not to mention players like Wyatt Johnston and Mason Marchment are 1 or 2 goals shy of that 20 mark. And I love the trade to acquire Chris Tanev. Dallas was allowing a lot of shots against. Now they're down to the 13th total shots against in the NHL. It is a tight race for the top of the Central Division, but right now, Dallas looks more and more like they fit the part, which is why I've got them at number 4. At number 3, the New York Rangers. Look, it was an easier part of the schedule this month for New York, but they knocked it out of the park. 10-1 in the month of February, 4-0 against current playoff teams. Their one loss this month was on the road in Columbus just 24 hours after a close win in Philadelphia. The Rangers are back to being well-rounded as well, tied for the 9th best goals per game average, tied for the 4th best goals against average in the league, 6th best power play percentage, 5th best penalty kill percentage. And they have been money on home ice, 21-8 this season, which is good news for the number 1 seed out of the Metro. My only concern for this team, there are still some oddities when it comes to New York's forwards. The Rangers have 8 skaters with 10 or more goals this season, but Panarin had a negative plus-minus for a while despite leading the team in goals. Lafreniere and Vesey are 5th and 6th on the team in goals. They both have a negative plus-minus. This puts a lot of pressure on the New York defensemen to step up and make plays. But with the talent this squad has, it feels like the Rangers are due for another long postseason run, which is why I'm putting them at number 3. At number 2, the Vancouver Canucks. Look, it was a brutal part of the schedule for Vancouver this month. 13 games in February. They start the month on a 5-game road trip, 3 of which are against current playoff teams, and Vancouver had to play those 3 teams back to back to back to round out that road trip. They then returned home for 2 games against 2 more playoff teams. They go back on the road to play in a crazy 10-7 loss at Minnesota, and then have to play in Colorado 24 hours later. They end the month on 3 straight home games, 2 of which are against 2 more playoff teams. Yet they're still tied for the 3rd best goals per game average in the league, and they're 7th in goals against average in the league. This also gives them the 2nd best goal differential in the league. So while they did go 5-6-2 this month, you can see why I'm not budging them from the number 2 spot on my list. At number 1, the Florida Panthers. Their recent surge has them competing for the President's Trophy. They went 9-2 in the month of February. Their only losses were at home against Philadelphia and on the road in Carolina. And both of those losses were by only 1 goal. In fact, they had a lot of 1-goal games. 6 of their 11 games this month had a 1-goal differential. But their most impressive wins were a 4-0 shutout against Colorado and a 9-2 stomp in Tampa Bay. They've got the best goals against average in the league, which has helped them earn the best goal differential in the league. The only concern I have for this team is that they are 2nd in total penalty minutes, but they're tied for the 7th best penalty kill percentage, and they have the 4th least total shots against. So even when they make mistakes, they are good at covering them up with excellent defense. They feel like that championship team that was able to run the table in the Eastern Conference from last season, which is why I've got them at number 1 on my power rank. So there you have it, my top 10 teams in the NHL through the month of February. A lot of these top teams struggled this month, which is why there were a lot of shifts and jumps in this power ranking. Some honorable mentions as well. Vegas is very close, but they've got a lot of injuries to overcome. LA and Philly had good Februaries, but how about the resurgence of Nashville? The Predators went 8-2 through the month of February, and these last 2 months of the regular season, they're going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially post-trade deadline. But that's going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like our content, be sure to scroll down below and click the like button. And while you're down there, click that subscribe button to get notified of future uploads to this channel. Also, be sure to check out our official website. That's phantomsportsindustries.com. Once again, my name has been Joe Soisson, and from the rest of Phantom Sports Industries, we hope to see more of you next time.